Most individuals remain trapped in the first pattern of wealth, a cycle defined by the rigid exchange. This cycle is characterized by the constant, exhausting exchange of precious personal time for mere currency. By analyzing the 2026 average hourly earnings of $37.38, the truth emerges. It becomes clear that this specific model imposes a harsh mathematical ceiling on one's lifetime potential. Working 40 years at this fixed rate yields roughly $2.8 million in total. Yet, the heavy reliance on hourly wages ensures that one never truly escapes the treadmill of this relentless treadmill of labor demands constant physical presence, leaving no room for genuine financial freedom. Because there are only 2,000 working hours available annually, the worker is physically limited today. The worker is limited by their own capacity, effectively renting their life to various corporate employers. These employers capture the surplus value created by the worker, leaving the individual with very little. This system is designed for stability rather than exponential growth, as the worker lacks necessary leverage. The worker lacks the leverage to scale their output, remaining tethered to the clock every day. Understanding this limitation is the first step toward realizing that traditional employment is a structural trap. It is a trap that prioritizes consistent labor over the creation of lasting, scalable, and valuable. Lasting assets are the only way to break free from the cycle of trading time away. The worker remains shackled to the desk, watching the hours tick by without any real progress. Every hour spent is an hour lost, never to be recovered in the pursuit of wealth. The mathematical reality of the hourly wage is a cold, hard barrier to true financial independence. While the paycheck provides a sense of security, it ultimately prevents the accumulation of real capital. The system relies on the worker's inability to see the ceiling that has been placed above. This ceiling is not just a financial limit, but a psychological barrier to thinking about growth. By focusing on the hourly rate, the worker ignores the potential of building something truly lasting. The trap is subtle, disguised as a stable career path that offers comfort but no escape. True wealth requires a departure from this rigid exchange, moving towards systems that generate value independently. The worker must recognize that their time is their most valuable asset, not their labor output. Renting one's life to an employer is a temporary solution that fails to build long-term security. The accumulation of $2.8 million over 40 years sounds impressive to the naive. However, when adjusted for inflation and the cost of living, the reality is far less grand. The worker is left with little to show for decades of service, having traded their youth. They have traded their youth for a steady paycheck that barely covers the cost of existence. This is the fundamental flaw of the first pattern, a cycle that consumes the worker's life. The system thrives on the predictability of the hourly worker, who is easily replaced and managed. Without the ability to scale, the worker remains a cog in a machine they do not. They do not own the machine, nor do they benefit from its growth or its success. The surplus value created by their labor flows upward, enriching those who own the scalable systems. This realization is painful but necessary for anyone seeking to transcend the limitations of the wage. The transition begins with the acknowledgement that the current path leads only to a dead end. It requires a shift in perspective, moving away from the comfort of the known and secure. The hourly wage is a cage, and the worker is the one who holds the key. Breaking free requires the courage to leave the treadmill and start building something of one's own. The creation of lasting assets is the only path to true independence and long-term wealth. This process is not easy, but it is the only way to escape the structural trap. The worker must stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner of value. This shift is the foundation of the journey toward the second pattern of wealth and beyond. The time for change is now, before another decade is lost to the cycle of labor. The math is clear, the path is defined, and the choice rests with the individual worker. Will they continue to rent their life, or will they begin to build their own legacy? The answer lies in the willingness to abandon the comfort of the hourly wage for something greater, something scalable, and something that truly belongs to the person who creates it today. The journey toward wealth is a journey toward freedom, and it starts with this single realization. The first pattern is a training ground, but it is not the destination for the wise. One must learn to see beyond the paycheck and envision the potential for exponential growth ahead. The constraints of the hourly model are artificial, designed to keep the worker in their place. By understanding these constraints, the worker gains the power to challenge the status quo and win. The path forward is paved with the lessons learned from the struggle of the first pattern. Every hour worked is a lesson in what not to do when building a future legacy. The transition is inevitable for those who refuse to accept the limitations of the traditional system. They will find the strength to build, to scale, and to eventually achieve true financial freedom. The first pattern is merely the beginning of a much larger, more rewarding story of wealth. It is time to step out of the trap and into the light of true ownership. Understanding this structural trap serves as the catalyst for a profound transition toward the second pattern. This evolution represents a fundamental shift from trading finite hours for money to creating scalable value. By moving into business ownership, individuals finally leverage profit margins that hourly labor cannot ever touch. Modern software-based models are particularly potent, often achieving profit margins as high as 85% total. Unlike the hourly worker, the business owner builds intricate systems that function independently of their presence. These automated structures allow revenue to grow steadily without a proportional increase in daily operational expenses. The underlying math is undeniable and favors the creator over the laborer in every possible scenario. While the hourly worker remains strictly capped by the limited number of hours in a day, the business owner serves the 10,000th customer with nearly the same effort as the very first. This shift from linear to exponential economics is the key to breaking the ceiling of employment. By focusing on unit economics and scalable systems, one stops renting their precious time to others. Instead, they begin building a robust engine of wealth that compounds value far beyond standard paychecks. The transition requires a mindset shift away from the comfort of a guaranteed, fixed hourly wage. It demands the courage to embrace the inherent risks associated with building an independent business entity. When you own the system, you capture the surplus value that was previously harvested by employers. This surplus becomes the fuel for further innovation, allowing you to reinvest in your own growth. The scalability of digital products means that your reach can extend across global markets instantly. Geography no longer limits your potential, as your systems operate continuously across every single time zone. You are no longer selling your physical capacity, but rather the output of your intellectual capital. This decoupling of time from income is the true secret to achieving genuine financial independence today. As your systems mature, they require less maintenance while continuing to generate consistent, reliable revenue streams. This creates the freedom to pursue higher-level strategies, rather than getting bogged down in daily tasks. The second pattern is not merely about making more money, but about changing how money works. It is about building an asset that possesses intrinsic value regardless of your personal daily involvement. By prioritizing scalable systems, you move from being a cog in a machine to the architect. This transformation is the essential bridge between the survival mindset and the path to lasting wealth. Each customer added to your system increases the overall efficiency and profitability of your entire operation. The compounding effect of this model creates a trajectory that traditional employment can never hope match. You are finally in control of your own destiny, unburdened by the limitations of hourly rates. The transition is complete when your systems generate more value than your own labor ever could. Consider the stark contrast in unit economics between the laborer and the innovative system creator. The hourly worker provides a service that is consumed once and then vanishes into thin air. Conversely, the product creator crafts a solution that lives on, serving thousands without additional effort. This is the fundamental difference between selling your life and building a lasting, profitable legacy. Every hour spent building a system is an investment that pays dividends for years to come. You stop working for money and start making money work for you through intelligent design. The market rewards those who solve problems at scale rather than those who perform manual tasks. Once you grasp this concept, the allure of the traditional paycheck begins to fade away entirely. You see the hidden costs of the hourly trap and the immense potential of scalable assets. The second pattern is the gateway to freedom, allowing you to escape the endless treadmill cycle. It requires patience to build, but the long-term rewards far exceed any standard salary increase. You are essentially buying back your own time by automating the processes that generate your income. This is the essence of true wealth creation in the modern, digital-first global economy today. Most people never take this step because they fear the uncertainty of leaving the hourly structure. Yet, the greatest risk is staying trapped in a system that offers no path to growth. By choosing to build, you take control of your financial future and define your own worth. The tools available today make it easier than ever to launch and scale your own business. You have the power to reach millions of people with a single, well-designed digital product. This is the power of the second pattern, and it is available to anyone who starts. Do not let the fear of the unknown keep you tethered to a limited hourly wage. The path to wealth is paved with systems, not just the sweat of your own brow. Focus on creating value that scales, and you will find the freedom you have always sought. The transition is challenging, but it is the only way to break free from the trap. Your future self will thank you for the effort you invest in building these systems today. Every step you take toward the second pattern is a step toward true financial independence now. The math is clear, the opportunity is real, and the time to start is right now. Stop trading your hours and start building the assets that will define your future legacy today. The second pattern is waiting for those who are brave enough to change their entire perspective. Embrace the challenge of building and watch as your potential expands beyond all previous limits. This is the beginning of your journey toward a life of true, lasting financial freedom.